Hey everybody, Paul Gray here, sharing with you today some more of the really good news from God. By the way, there is no bad news. We're looking at different parts of the really good news, which is also called the gospel of grace. In 1 Peter 4:10, Peter writes this: Each one of you has received a special gift, a spiritual talent, an ability graciously given by God. So now employ it in serving one another as it is appropriate. Be good stewards of God's multifaceted grace, faithfully using the diverse, varied gifts and abilities granted to Christians by God's grace. Now, that word multifaceted grace means many-sided, various, diverse, diversified, like a many-colored tapestry. All of these things that we have, these multifaceted parts of grace that we have, are just a small part of the whole. Grace comes in all kinds of sizes and shapes and forms and colors. I want to look at one aspect of grace today. The Apostle Paul said this to some real good friends of his and partners in his work that he knew he wouldn't see anymore. He said, I want you to know, this is Acts 20:24, I want you to know that I count my life dear to myself, so that I may finish my race with joy, and the ministry which I received from the Lord Jesus, to testify to the gospel of the grace of God. The gospel is the grace of God. And then in verse 32, he goes on to say, and now I commend you to God and to the word of his grace, who is able to build up and give an inheritance among all the sanctified, those who have been made right with God. Now, some translations say the word of his grace, which is, but others say, and it's more accurately translated, who is able to build up, to give an inheritance to all who've been made right with God. Jesus himself is grace personified, Mr. Grace. And where is Jesus? He's in us. He's in you and me. He lives in us. Christ in you, the hope of glory. Jesus is the word of grace who builds you up. The greatest gift of all is Jesus himself, who lives in you and wants to live as you. Now let me ask you this. Do you ever get discouraged? Do you ever have doubts? Do you ever question God? Do you ever question your understanding of God or your relationship with God? Do you ever get down? Ever wonder how you're going to make it? Ever wonder how you're going to work through this relationship challenge or this financial challenge or this health challenge? In short, do you ever need to be encouraged, to be built up? Well, of course we all do. So who do you go to build you up? If you go to somebody who says, you can do it, get up earlier, stay up later, work harder, suck it up, sacrifice, go for the gold, guess what? That's Mr. Law talking to you, telling you that you can handle this problem by your own hard work. It sounds good, but it ultimately will always let you down. But when you go to Mr. Grace, Jesus himself, to encourage you and build you up, he says, I already got this. I've already taken care of it. You can trust me. Now listen to me. Do what I ask you to do. Say what I ask you to say. I'll do it as you. And trust me for the result. That's what the gospel of grace does. It builds you up. You are living out the faith of Christ, not some faith that you magically conjure up. Let Jesus build you up today. Just ask him, and he will. Paul Gray saying thanks for watching. See you next time.